KH Documents LLC. And what we are is a company that is a forms and documents online retailer. However, we also have an important message that we give with our users. Our purpose is to educate our users on not only the social and economic disadvantages and disparities and inequities, but also to teach them how they can achieve a better lifestyle if they know how to get their affairs in order, how to bring their life's affairs in order, how to know what a power of attorney is, what it's for, how to get an LLC together, whatever forms of documents they need, how to get those things together properly so that they can save themselves some time, energy, and cost somewhere down the line. I was a child that grew up with every advantage possible. I had private school teaching. I had executives for companies that, were my friends. And yet still, when the time came when my uncle was really sick, I didn't know what a power of attorney was for. I didn't know what a power of attorney was. I didn't know what to do with it. And so I know there's many people out there just like that, just like me, who didn't know those things before. They contribute to the power of attorney healthcare and the power of attorney the property. And those are important documents that you need to have in order. And I think that one of the things that we need to do is reach our community, especially those that are underserved and underprivileged, and teach them when they're children what these things are for, so that when certain situations come up in life, that they know how to address those situations. And so they're free to be able to walk towards a better life because they know these things are in order. It's sort of like I say, if you know what's on the test already, you can start to prepare for the test. Make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what we're going to do, or what our company is going to do, is we're going to allow you to come online. You're going to be able to click on a form sheet that says a power of attorney, or if it's a lease, or will, or a state document. You can click on it. You can edit the document. Not only can you edit the document with what you need it for, you can also e-file it in the court system. You can also take the document and get it notarized, all in the same place. I know some people go to other sites like maybe a LegalZoom or a Rocket Lawyer. Yes, you can get a document there, you can get an attorney to review it, but you can't e-file it. One of the things that I learned during the probate process with my aunt was that I have all these forms, but I don't know where to file them. I know how to get into the court system. I have to try to navigate here, navigate there. I can't do it. So I have to become a paralegal at the same time. I want to take all of that pressure off of people. I want people to go one place. Hey, I can legal review document, I can edit it, I can notarize it, I can file it all here, one place, one time. I know it's done properly, I know it's legally sound, I know it's legally reviewed. Bam, the pressure's off of me. I don't have to worry about that.
Are they able to, your customers, would they be able to notarize their document online?
Yes. So we would have an electronic notary that where all they have to do is click a button, say, hey, we need this notarized. Automatically, that would take them to a notary. They'll present their documents. So an ID or some type of identification, state ID, driver's license, passport, whatever the requirement is for that document.
Would they have to upload, or is it like a Zoom where the notary will be able to see the document?
So first they will upload the document, and then it'll be like a Zoom meeting where they can see the notary can see them, they can present their documents right in front of the notary can review the documents, bail, the documents notarized right in there.
What about, what is the age when a person becomes that he or she needs to be concerned about having the will in place for the document in place for healthcare and also for the will?
I say between 18 and 35. And the reason why I say between 18 and 35 is 18 is when you're legally able to do it. So you can't be a power of attorney unless you're 18 and older. And between 35, because that's the time where you're learning. You're going to college, you're getting out of high school, you're learning life. By the time between 30 and 35 is when things start to settle in. So we know by healthcare statistics that the body begins to break down at 30. And we know in African American communities and minority communities, things such as hypertension, diabetes, heart disease starts to hit them at a higher rate around that age. So you want to have those documents in order prior to that, so that at 21, 22, you already know what it is. So the generation before you, they know that this person's in charge of this person's in charge of that. There's no arguing, there's no fighting. And also you want to have a healthcare representative so that that person, if someone's ill or they can't speak for themselves, they have someone there that's educated and somewhat in the medical terms that can speak for them. One thing I often find is that when you're ill, someone doesn't know how to talk to the doctor, and you can't talk to the doctor for yourself. And oftentimes, the American healthcare system just isn't built on getting you healthy. It's built around you being sick. So we need to have someone there that can sort of steer you away from that and steer the medical people from keeping you sick and pill after pill. You won't really get your power.
So if there were that person with the power of attorney, could that person request that the diet be changed? Just instead of the medication that they're recommending, could they request it, and would the doctor be able to abide by their wishes? Let's say the entire medical system is that against not having the medication?
Yes and no. So if you have a healthcare representative that has your power of attorney for healthcare,
Yes.
it is in the state of Illinois, and in most states, it's very broad. So the language is as broad as it can be because it's meant to be effective as it can be. A power of attorney is only as powerful as you make it as the principal. So if you can have the power of attorney start right then and there, where you can still make decisions for yourself, or you can have the power of attorney make decisions once you're incapacitated or you can't make it for yourself. So in my instance, I had the power of attorney for healthcare. The power started right then and there. Whatever I said was reinforced by the principal, but they had to listen to me. If I said no, this course of treatment was not going to happen, then that's what's going to happen. If the ambulance came and she needed to go to the hospital, if that's what I wanted to happen, that's what would have happened. Although I didn't do that, but that's what would have happened. So the power of attorney is meant for you to have that voice to reinforce what the principal wants. But what it's not there for is for you to override the principal. And as long as the principal still has a voice, that person should be heard and must be heard. But yes, it can go with course of treatment. If you want to stop a treatment, you want to start treatment, if you want life support, if you want to revoke a DNR, do not resuscitate order, as the power of attorney for healthcare, you have that authority. Should you do it? That's a conversation between you and your principal, and really between you and yourself. But if you don't know what it's for, if you don't know how to operate it, if you don't know what it is, then what do you do with it?
Right. And then in the beginning, you knew that these terms and these positions, these roles were important, but you didn't know what responsibilities and what capabilities came with the role.
Yes and no. Once again, in the beginning, I didn't know what a power of attorney was until I was in my 40s. So I needed one. No one taught me. No one said this is what a power of attorney is. I heard attorney, I thought lawyer. I heard power, I thought it was a power of a lawyer. I didn't know that any person can have a power of attorney that was 18 years or older. And no, I didn't know what it did. And so for me, it was very much learn as I go. I learned this, I learned this, I learned this. This was challenged. I had to go back and do this and do that. No, but as I got to grow in the role, so to speak, then yes, I knew what it was for. But prior to that, no, I didn't.
You had excellent education too as a child and all through your life too.
Absolutely. I went to Holy Name Cathedral, which is downtown Chicago. I also went to St. Mary's Lake, which is in Uptown, and St. Teresa's, which is in Lincoln Park. I had the best education. I learned all my reading, writing, and arithmetic. But no, I didn't learn what a power of attorney was for. I didn't learn what a healthcare representative was for. I didn't learn about illnesses and what they were. And I think that's a very sad part of our society is that we need to teach people that, hey, the eventual is going to come to all of us. Every single individual is going to get sick. Every individual is going to get older. Every single individual is going to have something happen to them. And we need to be prepared for that. And it's sad that we are not just in one community, in all communities, we're just simply not prepared. And we can't begin to go on to things like generational wealth and passing down prosperity and to get these things in order because we don't have a house in order.
And even though you were at all these institutions, those institutions, your schooling, they didn't provide you with a little bit of what you need in financial literacy either, did they?
Absolutely not. I'm still learning financial literacy. That is something I've struggled with every single day, as most people probably do. No, I didn't learn anything like that. I learned, 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 2, and A plus B equals C, and that type of stuff. But as far as financial literacy, no, I had no idea what that was and the importance of financial literacy. I didn't know how to plan for the future. I didn't know how to, the importance of life insurance or insurance. I didn't know if I had insurance that, hey, if my cell phone breaks, I can get that covered under my insurance and not have to pay for it out of pocket. I just knew getting a cell phone. I didn't know there was renter's insurance, or I didn't know I could have life insurance and borrow against that and pay for a bill or plan for opening a business or that type of stuff. I didn't know any of that. I am really still learning some of that, and I'm in my 40s. I'm still learning some of that stuff. So no, I didn't even the finance education.
And you said that you became paralegal as well. How long did it take you to become a paralegal?
I did on the fly. So let me correct myself. It wasn't a certified one, but I had to learn everything that you have to learn as a paralegal in a course of, in a matter of weeks. In a matter of weeks. It was like, bam, this has happened, and I have to learn how to do it. The first time I realized I had to learn it was when I filed a motion in the Cook County Circuit Court system, and they returned the motion 3 times. And on the 3rd time, they said, hey, this is what you need to do. Do it like this.
That was kind of dumb.
Right, and then finally I said, okay, I have it now, so let me file it the proper way. But imagine if I, with quote unquote the best education, didn't know. Imagine how many people don't know. That's a problem right there. My company wants to solve that problem. I want to have you direct your rights to the document that you need, the form that you need, and bam, right there you can e-file it. You know exactly where it's going.
So this is not only like a problem that rests with people of color. It seems that it might be even reaching the privileged populations too. The white populations, they might not even have the knowledge in place about what they need for financial literacy, for will planning, for problem of attorney, for a health representative.
That's true, but there's a big difference there. When you have a privileged community, they have the means and they have the network there already. So if I'm hypothetically a Vanderbilt, then there's already a system set in place because there's enough money there where they have lawyers, they have advisors, they have counselors. But if I'm, someone just on Second Avenue Sands or maybe on Howard Street, and I don't have those resources. I don't have a lawyer to turn to. I don't have a counselor to turn to. I don't have an advisor. There's no will. There's no people that have my best interest in mind and at heart. There's probably just insurance, a bunch of people that want some money, and a sick person that can't speak for themselves.
Yeah, what we always hear in the commercials is that the insurance companies want you to buy insurance, but once it comes to payout to ask for for the insurer to pay what they promised, then they try to pay as little as possible while getting as much premium from you as possible.
Or not paying at all. So
Yes.
in my situation, I was legally appointed the beneficiary of the insurance. I have been the beneficiary of insurance for 21 years. And then by request, I was taken off as primary, but then put back as primary beneficiary. I was dragged into court. In the state of Illinois, life insurance is not a part of the estate, but yet it was dragged into court. And they want to challenge my designation as a primary beneficiary. Never mind the fact that I had a notarized power of attorney. I had a affidavit from the person who notarized my power of attorney. My power of attorneys were done in public before witnesses. I still was hauled into court over a small life insurance policy and have been dragged there for over a year and a half. So, and the insurance company had the exact same power of attorney, had the exact same affidavit from the notary who notarized the power of attorney, had the exact same witness list, had a slew of documents that supported that they were there, or that the principal was confident they signed a power of attorney, and they still didn't want to pay the money.
Okay, so the thing is that it wasn't your relatives wanting to remove you as beneficiary, it was the insurance company that wanted to remove you as beneficiary.
Not so much that it was my family that was greedy that just wanted some money, not all my family. But the point is, had I made had the documents been stronger, I may have been able to avoid that. But instead, I was hauled into court. And had the insurance company did what it was supposed to do, which was to listen to the beneficiary, as opposed to these naysayers, because anybody can file a claim of, hey, it's fraud, prove it. I had over 200 pieces of documentation to prove that, hey, my power of attorney, this beneficiary change wasn't fraudulent, it was very legal, and still I'm waiting for my money.
So you're still waiting for it?
I'm still waiting for it.
And meanwhile, you paid so much in legal costs already and court fees, etc.
Yes, legal consultations, a lawyer that's supposed to be a lawyer that you cannot contact on the opposing side. Every time you try to contact them, they're nowhere to be found. All that type of stuff, all that costs money. And not only does it cost money, it costs time, and it's also emotionally draining. It drained me emotionally to the point where I almost could not function, because not only did I have life to deal with, I still had the drag of my aunt's death lingering on me. And I couldn't really grieve because I had these claws in me with court. I was in court so much that I was a lawyer, or I was a judge.
Right. And you still have to work, you still have to make a living, you still have to provide for yourself and pay rent, etc., pay bills, and then you have to deal with all this.
Yes, and mind you, I took care of my dying aunt hands-on for 3 years. They lived in Michigan. Nobody came here from Michigan to change her or to take out, her clothing that was soiled or any types. Nobody came to give her medication or give her pills. No one did any of that. I left my job at Howard Brown, doing community health work there, testing people for HIV and AIDS and giving them counseling. I left my job. I would come home. I would go to her house, then come back to my house, then go to the pharmacy, go back to her house. And then when I changed jobs, I worked on 87th and Pulaski. I had to come from 87th and Pulaski. Sometimes I had to crawl up her stairs because I was so tired and so wore out, but I still had to tend to her. That just mentally and emotionally drained me, but they didn't care. No one was there for that but me. No one. But yet still, I was still fighting in court for something that really was mine.
When you were a community health worker, did you see social workers dealing with patients and patients' families who were going through something that you are going through, that you have been going through these years?
Absolutely. And in community health work, a community health worker basically is like a junior social worker first and foremost.
Yes.
So you see all sorts of stuff. Yes, you see families that they call in and they want you to talk to the insurance company. They want you to call and come to the doctor or talk to the doctor to get a test done or to find out what does this mean and what does that mean. But as a community health worker, I'm limited in what I can say to you, what I can direct you, because I'm under the doctor's license, so I can only say so much. Now, as the owner of my own company, I can say what the truth is. I can give you the statistics. I can give you the facts. I can't give you medical advice, but I can tell you, hey, look at this. I can say a lot more. And I also can tell you what my experience is. My experience is I'm a young man that was educated very well, that thought he was ready for life, but he wasn't. I had a horrible experience happen to me. I had the person that meant the most to me get sick. I had to learn how to take care of that person, how to administrate their business, and then how to try to represent their interests in life and in death. And I didn't know what I was doing because I wasn't taught. I didn't have the documents, and I had to get the documents. That's my experience. I want to save people from that same experience. One, taking care of your loved one is hard enough, but two, to sit there and have to fight for something that is morally or legally yours for no reason, that puts you through the ringer all over again. And it's a horrible experience.
So, if you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but did your aunt did she raise you?
Basically, so my mother died when I was 13 years old. My aunt took me in when I was 13. She has always been there for me from birth to death. She was like a second mother to me. She was a second mother to me. And she always referred to me as her son. She never really called me her nephew. She always called me her son. And for years, when she was ill and visiting the doctor, I was the one talking to them. I was the one getting things done. But I wasn't the power of attorney. I didn't have the authority. I didn't know that because I've been doing it for so long. It wasn't until I really needed it that I know I didn't have it. But yes, she was definitely a loyalty.
Okay, so when you needed it and you didn't have it, what you do?
I had to retain not only a private attorney, but also a legal consultation firm and pay for that out of my pocket. And I had to fight for the power of attorney.
So in other words, your mother's physician or the medical facility would not allow you to become a power of attorney?
No, absolutely not. The only way I could become power of attorney was that she had to change it. And what happened was my cousin put her in a nursing home and died, basically. And we had to mount a legal fight, and finally my cousin gave in and gave up the power of attorney, and that's when my sister and I came in assembly. And even though previously I had been taking care of her business, I was not allowed to.
So in other words, you knew what was best for her, but you were not allowed to do it.
I knew what was best for her, I knew what she wanted, and no, I was not allowed to do it. I wasn't allowed to do it until I fought for her.
And at that time, she was no longer able to speak up for herself.
She was competent, but no one was hearing her voice because she was sick, she was ill with cancer, and people were all talking to her. They were just all talking to her. And so I had to come in and be the head. I had to speak up for her and make sure that her voice was heard, which is the primary job of the power of attorney, to make sure the principal's voice is heard. And people don't get that, that's what's it out.
So that was really draining for you because how long was it when you wanted to be her power of attorney, but your cousin was stopping you from it, or that in between time when she was in the nursing home?
That was a 3-month battle, a very long 3-month battle. I would go to the nursing home to see her, and I would come home and I would talk to my sister, and I'd be on Lakeshore Drive, and I would have to pull over and break down and cry because I was so emotional. I could not even drive. There was times I almost got in an accident because I was just so emotional. I was so angry and so hurt over what they were doing that I had to pull over on the side of Lakeshore Drive and cry and take the local roads because I just didn't know what to do.
So what happened after the 3 months then?
After the 3 months, my cousin stepped down as power of attorney. The nursing home let me know that she stepped down. How she had her power of attorney, I don't know. But I did mine the legal way. I put together a power of attorney. I called a notary. I had a social worker find her mentally competent before, so a half hour before she signed the power of attorney, she was found competent to sign the power of attorney. I had witnesses. I did in the nursing home in front of witnesses, and that's how I did it. I got the power of attorney. Unfortunately, at that time, because she had a feminine cancer, her urine backed up into her kidneys, and they had to rush her to the hospital. At that time, I said no more for nursing home. I removed her from nursing home. I brought her home. I had a studio apartment, and within 1 week, I had a 2-bedroom apartment and moved her in with me. It's a 2-bedroom here in Rogers Park, and that's what I had to do. And from that minute on, I've taken care of her 24 hours a day.
So after that, what else did you learn? After you got the power of attorney, what other crises came up in which you needed to have that knowledge and to have proper documents in place?
Well, let's see. Anytime the ambulance was called, anytime that I had to deal with the do not resuscitate, so she'd go to the hospital and she wanted to do not resuscitate for her. As the power of attorney, I had to sign that and then go along with her wishes. If there was a change in treatment or a change in care, I needed that. To deal with the in-home health agencies, such as for a CNA or they're not what they call them. It's not a CNA, but a person that comes in each day cleaning. No, not just but for that too. Caregiver. For a caregiver to come in, I had to have the power of attorney for that. In order to deal with the Department of Health, I had to have the power of attorney for that. In order to deal with Medicaid or Medicare, I need the power of attorney for that. I had to go in there and change, be a health representative. For Social Security, I had to have the power of attorney for that, become her payee representative payee. So I needed every aspect of her business. Anything that I needed to do, I had to have the legal authority to do it.
So did her Medicare, Medicaid, was it able to cover all her medical costs?
It covered her medical costs to the bare minimum. What people don't realize is, in order to die with dignity in this country, you need some money. Point blank period. If you are poor, you are not going to get good end of life care, period. And if you don't have a family that loves you, if you don't have a family that has advocates for you or sort of leaders for you, you're gonna die in a nursing home. And Illinois has some of the worst nursing homes in the country, point blank period. So yes, it covers the care in terms of bare minimum. It'll cover hospice care very well, I guess. But you also have palliative care, which comes before hospice care. And that's just really different. It's the same, it's not similar. It's similar, but not the same. Palliative care is when I'm still seeking treatment. Hospice is when I've given up, I know it's coming to the end. But you still need someone to take care of you to that point. You know, you need someone to come in and change your soiled diapers, or to change your catheter, or to clean up, or to feed you and keep you alive until nature takes its course. A caregiver can only do so much. A CNA only does so much, maybe wash you up and change you, you know? But the rest of it has to be on a family member. A private duty nurse would have cost me $70,000 for 6 months for 24-hour care.
So that means that it will cost $70,000 to hire someone to do all you said, and then maybe even help her get a bath or clean her up once a day.
Yes, for 24-hour care for a private duty nurse, $70,000 for 6 months. What the person lives for a year more. But who has $70,000 laying around?
So what happens if they don't?
Then you're stuck with the state. You're stuck with Medicaid and Medicare, and you have to have a family that's going to help take care of that person. I imagine I could have a job up here this person 24 hours a day. How can I? How can I go to work and this person legally cannot be at home by themselves? I couldn't leave the area of Rogers Park. I would have to go no more than Family Dollar, Walgreens, someplace like that to get cleaning supplies or grocery shopping and then come back home. And sometimes I do, hey, caregiver, while you're here, can I go do this for you? Can I run to the store? Or send them to the store? Because that's all I had. Where can I go?
You were concerned that if someone was not there, that she might fall, or there might be some kind of medical emergency that happens, right?
Yes, absolutely. And then on top of that, when you're dealing with an elderly patient that's ill, you also have the Department of Aging. So you have state regulations to follow, or state agencies watching you. And if something happens, now you can go to jail. And you're doing the best that you can. So you have to work in these confines, and it's very hard to do.
So your company, KH Documents, they'll help with the documents. Would they also help with all this advice that you're talking about now?
Absolutely. So we'll have a blog page and a podcast. So we're not just the forms and documents. We're also on lifestyle. We're on educating you on what the facts are, the statistics are, and how to combat those and how to deal with them. So we'll teach you about social determinants of health. We'll teach you about the healthcare system, how to navigate it, how do you use your power of attorney once you have it, how do you use your healthcare representative once you have it. We're going to teach you all those things. We're going to have workshops and seminars. We're going to go on a college tour to educate college kids so that, hey, this is what's going on. This is what you need. This is what you think you know. This is what you don't know.
Yeah. And life is not as happy, as carefree on the surface as you think it is.
Yes, and also that, hey, when you start hitting 30 or 40, stuff really starts to happen.
Right. And then you also have to, the college kids, they also start to have to worry about their parents too, because sooner or later around that age, in about 10 to 20 years, stuff will be happening and they'll be responsible for it.
Absolutely, and so what we want to do is prepare those students ahead of time. Prepare those people ahead of time. So that when it comes, you already know what's there. We want to look at this and say, hey, mom, dad, grandma, do you have this in order? Do you have this document? Do you have this? Let's start on it now. So we want to prepare you ahead of time so that when it comes, you're ready. You already know you already have documents, you know what to do with them, you know how to use them, you know what they're for, you're off and running. The fight is fixed already.
When you ask, do you have, grandma, grandpa, do you have these documents in order? The answer is very likely 99% no.
Absolutely. Most times we know. I know it's my family. Most why I know, the answer is still no. I want to change that. I want to take that 99% where it's no and get to 100% yes. And I want to do that one document at a time. That's why my motto was docs for you, Docs for life. Because the docs are just for you, they're for life. They're to get your life and your life affairs in order. If you do them now, you don't have to worry about it later. Once you have those things in order now, you can get other things in order because you know what comes next. You know the order things. You can work towards something different because this part is already taken care of. It's insurance for the life, basically.
Yes, well, yes, and it doesn't really cost that much. If you don't have that in place, it will cost you. Right now, it's like almost educating yourself and having, is there, what would the cost be for someone to work with you, like a family's work with you? Just an idea about what they're getting into.
Well, if you get a whole estate package, it'll probably cost you around $220. Okay, so that will get you a will, living will, your power of attorney for healthcare, it'll get you your healthcare representative, your advanced directives, all together in a package. You get a legal review, get it notarized, get it filed. Of course, it has to be depending on your jurisdiction. What is the cost if you don't do that? Well, depending on where you live at, it's going to take cost to get a form, or a lawyer to go into probate, or a lawyer to get power of attorney. It's going to cost you time, energy, far more. It costs you thousands of dollars to get this together.
It already costs you thousands of dollars or more, like what you went through.
Yes, absolutely. What I went through, it cost you thousands more. A lawyer's consultation isn't cheap. A lawyer's hours aren't cheap. But if you do it ahead of time at 220, bam, you save yourself so much money. It's legally binding, it's notarized, it's with the court system, everybody knows what's going on.
So do you still need to, let's say after you're done with the package, do the people at some point still need the lawyer, but however, they don't need the lawyer for, like extensive consultation, maybe just for something to file at court or something like that, and it's less expensive, and they know exactly what the lawyer needs to do on their behalf.
Absolutely. And then also on our site, we will have legal consults.
Okay.
So then if you have legal consults, so they'll come with your package for like for the estate package.
Oh.
It'll come with that. So you'll know, hey, this is the next step. But once you have the documents that's together, all you have to do is enforce it. Simple as that. It will cost you far less going with us than it would be trying to piecemeal this together, piecemeal that together at the end. Far less.
Yeah, because what happened to you is that you were learning as you went on through these years. That would be the same thing for your potential clients. That they would have to learn on their own, and that's very difficult and very draining.
Time consuming. It's very time consuming. And that's one of the things you want to do, you want to take out of it. If you're already stressed out about the condition of your loved one, why add to the stress with these documents and these forms and fighting over this and fighting over that and fighting over whatever it is? Let's cut all that out. Let's get everything in order now. We know who does what, we know what this is for, how this works, how we use it, how we cannot use it, how we enforce it, and let's keep going with it. That way we take all that stress and all that negative energy, all that pressure off of you because we have this together already.
And you spoke earlier that you're trying to help the marginalized populations because those are more likely to be to not have the resources to to get all this in place, all these documents in place, and all this knowledge that you're offering them. However, there are a lot of white people too that not the rich white people, just like the middle class white people that could also do well having your services.
We are here for anyone who needs our help, anyone that I can help avoid what I went through, what I experienced, what my family experienced. I don't care who you are. If you need help, if you need knowledge, if you need direction, if you need to know what this form is for, what it does, how to use it, if you need to know anything that we can help you learn, we're going to help you. I don't care who you are. That's what I'm here for. We are here to lift everyone up and get everyone in the right direction to get their affairs in order and get their life in order. That's for you, that's for life, for everyone.
Hester, if people wanted to contact you, we will have future events with you, and more guests could arrive to meet with you. But however, meanwhile, if let's say someone now is experiencing a situation in which they do need the power of attorney or they need help with documents, how do they reach you?
You can reach me starting April 7th at KH Documents LLC.com.
Okay, and could they call you as well, or?
Yes, you can call me. You'll be able to call me at 312-883-7646.
Is there anything else that you would like to share that we haven't covered in this interview?
No, I think that we've covered everything. I want to thank the Chamber so much for their time. I want to thank everybody for attending. This has been a wonderful thing, giving us a chance to present ourselves to the world, and really thank the Chamber so much for this.
Thank you so much, Ken. We really enjoyed having you, and this information that you're providing to the community and the services is so important.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yes, yeah, so I'm just trying to find the, let's see.